by bacteria to create an insulin-like compound. And after years of research and development, humulin is no different from human insulin. It's used by millions of patients across the world and has been proven incredibly safe. Scientists then took that research and applied it to our food source. GMO, or genetically modified organisms, are an inevitability of our future food source. A study by the United Nations stated that we need to increase our food source by 70% by 2050 just to accommodate the population. GMO crops are a potential answer to this problem. But our ability as consumers to access information about our food is at risk. I believe for companies to sell GMO products to the public, they need to state the nature of the modifications on the box, under or near the nutritional information, or be available at the point of purchase, such as a binder near the produce section. And after hours of research accumulated from scientists at Harvard and the FDA, I've become an educated consumer. And as a consumer, I have the right to make a purchase decision when it comes to GMO versus non-GMO products. With 1 million signatures signed in the first month of a petition started by Just Label It in 2012, it is time for legislatures to make a change on GMO labels. According to the Center for Food Safety, GMO crops account for 92% of U.S. agriculture. That varies from golden rice, nutrient-rich rice that saves 500,000 people a year, to genetically engineered corn that can be soaked in pesticides and have harmful runoff enter the environment and surrounding water sources. That doesn't even include GMO salmon with modifications to the pituitary gland so it has elevated hormone levels so that it grows faster, gets to the market faster, and makes more money. Current legislation states that as long as the genetically engineered product tastes, smells, and feels the same as the organic product, it does not have to be labeled as GMO. GMOs are incredibly diverse, from herbicide and pesticide resistant crops that do untold damage on the environment and to the health of the farmers themselves, with a majority of the US farmers using Roundup resistant crops, to life-saving nutritional crops. Currently, 64 countries require GMO labels. That includes the European Union, Japan, Australia, and China. The United States is one of the few developed nations that does not require GMO labeling. To ensure that the shopper has adequate information about their nutrition, the government must enforce that GMO modification lists are easily accessible. Just like nutrition ingredient labels, an amendment to the Nutrition and Labeling Education Act, or the NLEA, to include GMO modifications would allow for access to already implemented procedures and regulations on how and what to include on the labels. That would not only improve our quality of food source, there is potential to create more science jobs in either the private or public sector. One potential problem of enforcing a GMO labeling is that it will cost the government more money to conduct thorough genetic inspections and enforce the labeling. When it comes to inspections, the government is already doing inspections on factories from canneries to dairy farms. They test everyone due to the NLEA in 1994. When it comes to genetic testing, that can be contracted out to the private sector labs, or it will create more scientific jobs within the government. Ultimately, the cost of labeling will be passed down to the consumer, and consumers will have the ability to choose whether the cost is worth the environmental impact. With GMOs becoming more and more prevalent, and as GMOs being a potential answer to the rising population, we as a society must ensure our right to access information about our food. If the NLEA is not amended, we could potentially be at the mercy of large corporations such as Monsanto. Currently, GMO products are being sold next to non-GMO products without distinction, unless it tastes different. There's no regard for the changes done to pituitary gland, rises in hormone levels. Legislative change to change the definition of material will allow much better distinction of these products. Simply requiring a discrete labeling and access to more specific information allows the consumer the choice to ingest GMOs or find an alternative organic product. A majority of U.S. farmers use herbicide-resistant crop, allowing them to dump massive amounts of weed killer, multiplying the amount of runoff and its effects on the environment. So if you would like to bring about change, contact your Senator, Jeff Flake, via his phone number or write him a letter. His contact information is right here. We need to act now to ensure that we have a right to our nutritional information. This amendment allows us to be healthy and knowledgeable for generations to come, as well as potentially lowering our environmental impact as customers speak with their wallets. Thank you,